at about kind of 10, 11, I was, you know, like pilfering through like all these old kind of great old 60s soul tracks, and that's basically where my roots are with regards to music. Got like a gig DJing at a club which was in New Brighton, where I came from, called the Chelsea Reach. I was 15 then. By the time I left school, I was pretty much working full-time as a DJ. I actually went to Wigan Pier, saw the place, like absolutely fell in love with it. It was just, you know, awe-inspiring at the time. The Tuesday nights at Wigan was a jazz funk night, like a specialist black music night. So that was one of the nights that I did. And they were opening a new club in Manchester called Legend, a second club. And it was coming here that I made the decision that I was going to put the emphasis on mixing. And a lot of things seem to happen in Manchester now that I look back, you know, documenting this kind of period of time. It was May '82, which strangely is the month the Hacienda opened. It was the month also I started the radio mixes for Piccadilly Radio. And it was also the month here where it orbited. It was the month Planet Rock came out. It was a very kind of exciting time walking into Spinning, which was the record shop here in Manchester. And, you know, coming out with like 5 or 6 tracks that are now like classics of that period of time, and very different tracks. And the great thing that from that period that was different to what happened later after the kind of rave explosion was it was such a kind of wide span of music that was being played. It was, even though I was known for, you know, eventually known for like the electro-funk, I was still playing soul, funk. We had jazz spots, you know, right through the whole period of time. I was building a reputation from the mixing side, which was seen as very new. There was probably only a handful of DJs in the country at the time who were known, you know, from a mixing point of view, and pretty much nobody else in the north. There might have been a few guys who were working on the gay scene that were mixing and stuff like that. But certainly with regards to the black music scene, there was nothing. So this was, again, something that was very different. Legend was the ideal club to be able to do that. It had an amazing sound system. I mean, it was so ahead of its time as a venue. You know, if you transport that club now and put it here as it was then, it would blow people away. A lot of people passed through. Stu Allen is another person. He was one of the only white kids that came to Legend, and he was a regular here. I mean, later on, Stu was probably the first person in this country playing house music, and yet he doesn't get an iota of mention. He was doing it, and he was there, and he was playing it on the radio, and he was promoting it in a Manchester contract. His name doesn't exist in a lot of the histories of all this.